Hi, my name is Lowell Joseph Gallen, and I am here at the Male School of Film, Television, and the Arts, just behind City Hall in Jerusalem. And our guest for today's interview is Einat Kapach, who is the Director of International Relations at the school, and a former student. Einat, what would you like to start off telling us about your remarkable film school?
Well, it's the only kind in the world, I think. We call it a Jewish film school. All the students are coming to Ma'aleh are coming from interesting backgrounds. A lot of them come from religious backgrounds. Some of them come from ultra-Orthodox backgrounds. Some of them are secular. And everyone can make a film about whatever he wants to. It's an art school, but actually a lot of our films are dealing with Jewish identity in a way that Judaism will not have been shown so far in the films around the world. There are many layers. They are not judgment, they are questioning about Judaism, but from a point of view that this is our background, this is our life. So the students we have a variety of students, and the teachers also are some religious, some secular. They come from the professional industry. And first of all, it's a professional school. But the other thing is that the topics that the students are choosing to make films about are really different. But it's not only films that are for Jewish communities around the world or in Israel. We get a lot of very good prizes in international film festivals, because even if you deal with religious family, the fact that you deal with a relationship, that makes the film a wonderful film.
Right. What's the size of your student body, and what's the proportion of men and women, and what's the age group?
Right after the army, like about maybe 21, 22,
Would
23.
be the youngest students.
Would be the youngest, but we had students. She was 70 years old who's studied here. Yeah, script writing. So life is, you have a lot of time to do whatever you want to. So
King David died when he was 70, and Adam, who was meant to live 1,000 years according to the Jewish Midrashic tradition, gave 70 years of his life to King David, which is why he only lived to 930, and Methuselah beat him for more years. So a 70-year-old woman was studying screenwriting here. Incredible. And what's the size of your student body at the moment?
It's interesting, because at the beginning there were many women, more than men. Now it's a bit more balanced. I think still the Jewish mother wants her son to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Well,
but we have mothers that come here to study how to direct films, and they study full program, 4 years, even if they have 5 or 6 children.
And, well, I'd like to say something about doctors and lawyers. If I can put in a vote for a Leni Riefenstahl or a Sergei Eisenstein, we could use some. Stalin had Sergei Eisenstein, and Hitler had Leni Riefenstahl, two of the greatest filmmakers of the 20th century. We had Otto Preminger. He did make Exodus. We could use some Otto Premingers, Leni Riefenstahls, and Sergei Eisensteins to get our message to the world. And in terms of film being important, I'll tell you what my friend Navras Jat-Afridi, who is a Pashtun, a professor at Gautama Buddha University in India, had to say about that. He was just here as a guest of the State of Israel visiting. He spoke in my lecture series that I have at the Orthodox Union Israel Center on Strauss Street. He spoke about film and how important it is in India. He said, India, with all its doctors and software engineers, has the largest population of illiterate men and women in the world. They cannot read and write. How do you talk to them? He said, Bollywood dwarfs Hollywood in size of production for a very simple reason. Indians love to see movies. If you can't read and write, you can go to the movies. So the most effective way to reach the most people on planet Earth, how do we have 6.5 billion humans at the moment, I think, is through film. Because so many people, even in America, Jane Fonda was in a movie like this years ago with Robert De Niro, I think, can't read and write. So I'm all in favor of film myself. And for those mothers who want your sons to be doctors and lawyers, spare a few to be the next Otto Premingers. We can use them. So your student body began mostly with ladies, and now it's more men.
No,
mixed.
Mixed, yeah.
And did I ask you this before? I'm not sure. About non-Jewish students.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't ask.
Okay.
No, we don't have non-Jewish. It will be interesting if a Muslim from the old city will ask if he can join the school. So it will be interesting. to try that.
I have a feeling you might be getting some. We work.
But
me and
we
my,
have ultra-Orthodox students.
yes, we work with myself and my colleagues. We work with pro-Israel Zionist Muslims around the world. What most people don't know is many Muslim nations are very friendly to Israel, such as Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. There are daily flights from Tashkent to Tel Aviv, Nigeria, Azerbaijan, Albania. We don't usually hear about them. They're there, they're with us. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next few years if you have some budding filmmakers coming from Alma-Ata or Samarkand to come study here. What Einat said before is that it's already remarkable enough to get Jews from so many backgrounds together in one film school. You have Jews from, 500 different ethnic groups from around the world here? There's a lot. Get them all in one place to live in a small society is quite an achievement. I think the state of Israel does rather well. How many years has the school been in existence, Einat?
It's been established 22 years ago because there was a need to build this kind of school and to make a lot of films that are dealing with our Jewish identity in a deep point of view. If you go to our website, you can see 3 minutes from each film. You can get the ideas of the films that are the topics that our films are dealing. You can download the films and you really see all the spectrum of dealing with the Jewish law and Jewish mindset, the Jewish family, Zionism in a complexion point of view, not the way you used to see it on television. So it had been established 22 years ago. So far we have more than 150 graduate films that are going all over the world.
Something intrigues me. Most people are familiar with the fact that Jews are overrepresented in every host country and professions in many areas of achievement, and in the last 100 years of the Nobel Prizes in science, I think we took in 25%, an astonishing statistic. How do you account for the fact that the graduates of the Male School of Film, Television, and the Arts are so heavily overrepresented in winning prizes at so many film festivals abroad? Because you're raking in the prizes.
Because I think the topics and the ideas and the questions that we see in our films, you don't see it in a lot of films around the world. Because when somebody comes from a religious background and he makes a film about religious family, it's not a patronized point of view, it's not stereotype, it's life. And this is something you didn't see before that. When you saw Fiddler on the Roof, you saw Kadosh or Vamos Litai, I mean, there were many films about Jewish communities or religious families, but most of them were very patronized. And here, students are telling their stories. So they're real people, their questions and conflicts are real, and even if you're not religious or even if you're not Jewish, you can identify yourself with those questions. Questions about tradition and modern life doesn't have to do with especially something with Judaism. It can be, all over the world. Or the role of the women in the family, for example. All these questions in a different point of view and refreshed point of view. This is something I think we didn't see.
Right. It says in the prophet Zechariah that in the end of days 10 men, for me that would be generic, will grab the tzitzit of a Jew, the fringes of a garment, and will say, we will go with you because we have heard that God is with you. In a sense, it seems to me that the unending interest around the world in Jews, Judaism, and Israel, and everything about Israel, and wanting to hear stories told by Jews about themselves, like Einat said, not in a patronizing way or to make a stereotype or Hollywood schmaltzified version of Fiddler on the Roof, with no disrespect to a wonderful musical, that there is a tremendous need for this among non-Jews around the world. We want to know. Tell us your stories. And so this is why you think is the secret to Male's success, as well as the fact that your students are so gifted and talented.
Yeah, I think the secret is believable. Students don't want to try to sell, they want to tell their stories. And I think each one of us have an interesting story.
Right. One thing I learned from Barry Farber, my old boss, still alive, America's longest running radio talk show host at the age of 80, Barry. Hi Barry, I know you'll be watching this, you've been on the air for 50 years. And I was your producer in 1987 and 1988, and I'll never forget it. And we're still friends. And you'll find Barry's endorsement for my work, having started acting in a new beginning with film after 40 years since high school, and my Mandy.com site. Barry said, I know I'm going to get a little bit wrong, Barry, but don't get mad at me. It's the idea. Barry said, you can do a program on mailboxes in southern New Hampshire. If it's not interesting, it's because you didn't know how to do the story. There's no such thing as an uninteresting person or an uninteresting object. Every object, every person, we have our story. And certainly, there's no lack of stories. Even the stones tell stories here in the land of Israel. Now I have another question for Einat. You have a multi-talented, award-winning student body, which is bringing together in one place without having a riot or a food fight in the dining room, Jews, men and women of the different ages, 21 to 70, from different backgrounds, secular, religious, ultra-Orthodox, whatever those terms mean. In the student productions, do the students work together on productions so that you have a production where the scriptwriter is ultra-Orthodox and this is a lady
and
that's
the actors are
mixed.
Most of them are totally secular. They are professional actors who come from Tel Aviv or from the film industry.
All working together on joint projects.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
If you go to our website, and you can see also behind the scenes of a lot of our films, so then you can see a little bit how does it work.
You'll see all the links attached to this interview in the description section underneath the interview, so you can learn more about the Ma'ale School of Film and Television. I myself am waiting to sign up because I'm totally untrained, self-taught, for a video production or documentary film production course, but there aren't enough students yet for that course. So if you can have a little protection, you can put in a good word for me or increase the body count, I'll be able to start my film production course myself. Einat, is there something you would like to conclude telling our audience about for this first interview?
Just go and visit our website and enjoy our remarkable films.
Einat, thank you very much, and we thank our viewers for watching, and we're looking forward to future interviews with you and students and professors at the school.
Thank you very much. Thanks.